It takes a village, because for all means for all. Together we'll break down any wall. Linked in love, we won't disarm. We're uniting the grassroots army strong. So press play, feel the spark. This is where the movement starts. It takes a village and we're the proof. Truth in action, raising the roof. It takes a village. It takes a village. We rise together, louder than fear. One voice, one fire, crystal clear. From every banner, every street, unity moves on dancing feet. We rise together we're strong. A million hearts singing
Smoothly, swimmingly. So it is about that time, folks. Welcome to It Takes a Village, where we don't just talk politics, we platform people building power from the ground up. I am your charming and furious host, Political Jess, and let's be clear, I'm not going anywhere. Not today, not tomorrow, not till the grassroots win, and even then, who knows? Who knows? Speaking of our next guest, he hails from the incredible state of Louisiana, running for Congressional 4 District. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm, rowdy village welcome to Conrad Cable.
Hey y'all, I hope that everyone is having a good Monday. I know that I had such a hard time getting up and getting out of the bed this morning. My brother, not to delve too much into my personal life, but my brother had COVID about a month ago and then developed pneumonia. And so I have worked every day. Yesterday was my first day off from the farm since like November the 10th or 11th. So
my
I've been steady grinding 7 days a week, trying to keep the farm going while my brother could recover. So
Wow.
my Monday, I feel a little rested, but I definitely could have used just one more day off. But yeah, I am from North Louisiana, so y'all don't get me confused with our friends down in New Orleans. I'm from North Louisiana, which really culturally has a lot more in common with East Texas, but I'm from Louisiana. My folks have lived in Louisiana since 1824. They were some of the first folks who moved into Union Parish after the feds removed all of the native peoples. But my hometown is a little town of less than 1,000 people. It's called Marion, Louisiana, and that's where I grew up, and that's where my farm is now. And y'all don't confuse me with one of those farmers who is riding in a tractor all day. I have a small vegetable farm, and so we are growing salad mixes, leafy greens, and root vegetables. And my brother and I are the owners and the operators. So from seed to sale, we are doing everything from preparing the soil to planting and tending and then harvesting, and also delivering to our customers. And I'm really proud that we are a family farm that is feeding families in our communities, because in Louisiana, only 4% of farmers sell directly to the consumer. So we have 99% of the farms are family owned, but only 4% of them are feeding families in our community. And I just think that our society would look so much different if, say, that was even 25 or 35%. Yeah. So I got started into politics through being a food policy and local food advocate. And I know you didn't ask me this, but my breaking point was whenever Elon Musk and his cronies in Doge got up there and cut not only Meals on Wheels, but they also cut $1 billion from farm to school and farm to food bank programs. And I was like, these guys have got to go. And it really starts with the extremist MAGA agenda that Speaker Mike Johnson has enacted since
Yeah.
he has been in power, and also has supported since day one. And you also can't forget that before he was Speaker, Mike Johnson played a big role in all of the shenanigans that went on with President Trump trying to steal the election in 2020.
So I'm really glad that you answered you're ahead of me. So what I usually do is and that's totally fine. What I usually do is I ask the first question that I ask when people come in is, we've all heard of the straw that breaks the camel's back, right? But we aren't being hit with straws. We're being hit with the whole damn camel repeatedly in the face daily. Every second we turn around, it's very uncomfortable. So it's really good to hear that the camel that broke your back was all the BS that they're doing with, food security stuff. That impacts.
It's an attack. It's an attack on our community.
So many communities, and it attacks the most vulnerable among us. When I heard that they were doing that, I was moved to action as well. And It Takes a Village has started to put together soup kits. And they're just it's not gourmet food, okay? It's accessible. It's wholly accessible, canned goods in a bag with your shell noodles and your spice packet and everything you need to make a minestrone soup or, Texas black bean soup or whatever kind of soup we're making. And we go donate those. But that's something that we pay for. That we community members are doing what we can to take care of the people that the government should be taking care of. It's infuriating.
Yeah. And this is I don't have a whole lot of hair, but I feel like I could pull what's left of it out because so our farm was a partner with, we still are a partner. There's just no more federal dollars coming in for the programs, but we were working with the Northeast Louisiana Food Bank under the umbrella of Feeding Louisiana, and they serve 13 parishes here in North Louisiana. Yeah. And I had a conversation with their director, and he told me that, look, y'all, this is such a crazy statistic, and you have to arm yourself with information like this because it is what is going to help us win. But my entire life, I have grown up with people who have demonized and vilified folks who are on food nutrition assistance, right? And for every meal that a food bank can get on someone's kitchen table, SNAP can get 9 meals for the same price on somebody's kitchen table. And I have to tell you, I have never heard somebody talk smack about a food bank. If anything, those people are thanked and admired within the community, but it is not the best use of our dollars to make sure that we are addressing not only hunger, but malnutrition, Yeah. And the SNAP program is an efficient program that works for people. And I want to see that program. I want to see it made better. And I want to see more people have access to it. And you talk about the straw that broke the camel's back. In the summer of 2022, before Mike Johnson became Speaker of the House, he was just Representative Mike Johnson. And I had a meeting one-on-one in his office in Washington, D.C. I was part of a delegation of farmers who went and lobbied for the Farm Bill, which we haven't had a new Farm Bill since 2018. But I had one ask, and it was to make it easier for small, medium, and regional farms to connect directly to SNAP, EBT, and WIC recipients. And he told me then that it was a bipartisan issue to connect those people with fresh, healthy food. And he said, quote, "That's what those people should be eating." And so I took it that maybe there was a chance that he listened to what I had to say. But then we see his actions, and he is responsible for the most historic cuts to SNAP ever. And we're talking about a 35% reduction where people people are getting $2.10 a meal. And now it's been cut to $1.60 a meal. And I want to see any of these guys in Washington go to the grocery store and feed each member of their family on $1.60. Because these guys don't even buy their own groceries, but they're out here making rules and judging people who aren't looking for a handout, but a hand up.
I actually think that Congress needs to make minimum wage. Like if Congress made, I know that it's hilarious, but I'm serious. If Congress made minimum wage, if congressional representatives made minimum wage, it would not be $7.25 an hour right now. It would be a livable
I know that Morgan.
wage.
I know Morgan Spurlock isn't a very well regarded director anymore, but his series, whenever he lived off of minimum wage for a month, I think that that's a really eye opening video. And weeding out corruption is something that is so important that we have to do. And Speaker Johnson, I'm not sure if y'all have seen the clip of him arguing that you're not going to have qualified representatives if you ban stock trading, because people are going to go to the private market because they can't live off of $175,000 a month. I mean, a year.
So sad. Oh,
I know.
so
It's just
sad.
like, we can't go to the private school that we want.
Yeah, tell me that you are completely out of touch with the American populace without saying you're completely out of touch with the American populace. Like, what?
Yeah.
What is happening? What is happening right now? Okay, so the second question that I ask every one of my candidates that come on here, and I'm going to encourage you to be as candid as possible here, okay? And give it to us straight. Here it is. Many voters, especially young, working class, and marginalized communities, feel betrayed by candidates who run on these bold, progressive platforms, but then they quickly compromise or abandon those values once they're elected. So if you win this seat, and you will win this seat because we manifest that shit around here, if you win this seat, how will you ensure that your actions match your promises, especially when pressured by party leadership, corporate donors, or political expediency? What is your plan to stay rooted in the grassroots movements that got you here?
Sure. In 2020, I was the Bernie Sanders victory captain for Ouachita Parish. And I got a call after we had been rolling for about a month from the Mike Bloomberg campaign, and they offered me $30,000 to stop working for Bernie Sanders and to start campaigning for Mike Bloomberg on a local level. And it was the easiest decision of my life to say no, that there is no amount of money that could to get me to work for any other candidate. And so I am also a bit of an idealist, and I have an English degree. I have a college degree from the University of Louisiana, Monroe. And I was at an impasse where I was having to decide, do I go to graduate school or do I start a small farm? But I knew that starting a farm, because there's only one other, besides my brother and myself, there's one other full-time vegetable operation in Union Parish. And so I thought that it was the best thing that I could do to make my community a healthier and better place. And I do not make a lot of money, and I work my ass off 6-7 days a week. And so I really have, and you can ask anybody who knows me, but I have lived my life by walking the talk, or living by the ideals that I have. Yeah. And I know that I'm not alone whenever I've definitely felt betrayed by people like John Fetterman, who have run on a progressive ticket, but then completely forgot about working class people. And
yeah.
He
was the inspiration behind the question, by the way.
Well, look, I just can't imagine betraying working people, because that's the folks who raised me, my wife
Yeah.
and I, we make $63,000 a year, and I don't know how I could come back and face my family and friends if I decided to betray those interests. But I'm trying to go to Washington to not be a representative for Democrats here in the district, but I'm trying to look out for every single person who works hard. And let me just also frame that, like, you don't have to work hard to be able to receive some of the social safety net, because there
Yeah.
is a mental health crisis that we are facing in this country. There are
Hmm.
people who are developmentally challenged, and then there's some folks who the system has failed to where they have a really hard time navigating their day-to-day life. And so what I mean is that right now it has never been harder to achieve the American dream in the history of our country. Well, I could say, the poor folks who were subjugated during slavery definitely had a hard time,
Probably had it worse. Yeah,
but
for
in
sure.
modernity, like, it is like people are surviving, not thriving. And so I will absolutely make every decision in Washington based on what is best for the majority of hardworking folks.
I think that it's not a stat. I'm sure it is a stat somewhere, but I've heard somewhere that for the first time in our history, um, parents are going to be better off than their children.
Mhm.
Usually when you raise a family, your kids do better than you do when but for the first time in history, kids are not doing as good as their parents did. And that's a problem.
Yes,
That is a
and
problem.
folks like JD Vance want to call people anti-natalist who are making financial decisions to not have children, or because they can't access quality, affordable health care. And, those people are being demonized and called cat ladies and crap like
Yeah.
that. And
Or
I mean, my
childcare
wife and
or
I, yeah, we're 34, and it has never felt. My wife and I have been married for 3 years, and it has never felt more out of reach to afford kids than it does at this moment.
but it's not just it's healthcare, it's education, it's childcare, it's all the things. It's all the things. It's not just one aspect of life that will make it difficult to raise a child. It's everything. So
Hmm.
I can completely understand. Like, our education system is being completely gutted. So, I mean, how do you even educate a child if you were to bring one into this world? And I'm not saying you shouldn't have kids, but I have got to. But it's really hard to send my kid to school every day where the 10 commandments are posted. And we've decided together that she is going to be a problem for them. And I love that energy from her. I'm like, you go get them, girl. So, yeah, it's a bunch of things that are all compiling up. But let's talk about Louisiana specifically. Kim, can you throw up that slide for me? I've got a little slide here that I want to talk to you about. So Louisiana has a whole, like, there's a national rankings for all kinds of things, okay? This is where Louisiana falls on pretty much everything that matters. Education, 50th. Pre-K, 40th. Higher education, 48th. Housing, 40th. Percentage in poverty, 49th. Household poverty rate, 49th.
Yep.
Overall best state ranking, 50th.
Hmm.
That sucks. Those rankings
Yeah.
suck.
Brutal.
So can you talk to me a little bit about what you have done in your time in politics here to help bolster your local powerhouse to help fix some of these things? Because as I understand it, Louisiana is run by Republicans. Is that right?
No doubt. They have a super majority in the state legislature, as well as both of our senators are Republican, as well as 4 out of our 6 representatives in Congress too.
Yeah.
And a large portion of the parishes on a local level are run by Republicans too.
Yeah. How's that working for him?
Well, so let me just say this. One of the great things about the campaign trail is you get to talk to folks that you never would have met otherwise.
Right.
And luckily, I've been invited to several like police jury meetings, school board meetings, and things like that. And whenever you have an opportunity to get up in front of those folks, you can't say that you're a candidate. But after I give my 3-minute talk, I have been having no party and Republican elected officials on a local level come up and start conversations with me, because what I have come to understand is that there is this really big disconnect between the unpopular policy that the upper echelon of the Republican leadership in Washington or on a state level is shoving down the pipe versus boots on the ground Republicans who are serving in a local capacity, because every police juror understands what it means for their district and precinct to get federal dollars for infrastructure programs, because they get chewed out every day about how much the roads suck and about how infrastructure is lacking or where there's a flooding issue that they need to fix. And every single school board member understands what it's going to mean whenever kids at their schools don't get the breakfast and lunch that they need. And I think that what I need to keep doing is asking folks, what has Mike Johnson done for the 4th District? How has Mike Johnson and the Republican leadership made your life better? And I have not gotten a good answer to either of those questions from any of the constituents that I have talked to so far.
Marcus,
besides the people who are on the private prison train and all about the data centers and crap like that. So
yeah, the ones who are not for the people, the ones for the corporations. Marcus, before I bring you in, there's one more question that kind of tags onto what we're talking about here, and because it's really important. Louisiana has been improving in overall pre-K through 12 ranking as far as education goes, moving from 40th in the U.S. to from 46th in 2024.
Yeah, thank you, John Bell Edwards.
Yeah. So can you expand more about what contributed to that and how Louisiana can continue that momentum?
Well, Louisiana is not going to continue that momentum unless we elect better people. We have to make sure that we have a teacher shortage here in Louisiana. We have to make sure that the state and the districts are paying teachers more. We have to do more to get federal and state dollars coming in. All these stats are on the screen, but another stat that I think is more important is that Louisiana is one of the top 5 states for receiving for the amount of their state budget that is made up out of federal funds. In 2024, more than half of the state budget came from federal dollars. It was $52 billion. And so these guys want to go out and call Zohran Mamdani a socialist, but I don't see a bigger socialist than the Louisiana Republican legislatures down there in Baton Rouge, because they are absolutely running this state off of federal dollars. And that's why it's important to have folks in office besides Mike Johnson, because our state has to have federal money to keep our local economies going. And if we don't have that, then we are going to absolutely be left behind, and it is going to turn into a third world type of country that every single service that folks rely on is going to be privatized. That's the ultimate goal for these weirdos.
I kind of feel like a lot of people in red states have already been left behind, but they're like clinging to this American exceptionalism that forces them to vote a certain way, and it's against their interests. So with that being said, Marcus, welcome to the panel, my friend. Just so you know, Marcus is a Republican. So be kind to our friend Marcus. Nobody is perfect, everybody.
I used to be a Republican until I was about 20 years old.
Oh, I'm a
Nice.
Republican, but I'm anti-MAGA.
He's
So,
anti-MAGA, so
um,
we
yeah,
let him. We like him around here. We keep
Look,
him
I can
around
get
here.
behind some John McCain Republicans, you know.
exactly, my brother. Um,
Yes.
you
Whenever we
know,
used to have a disagreement about policy, not who was an American or not.
Right.
I'm Board of
Like where's
Education.
Jeannie?
I'm elected to District 5 and District 6 in Alabama, so I know your fight, brother. You have the same thing. So I'll ask you a couple quick questions, and if you ever need any help, you can reach out. I actually followed you. You know, you're welcome to. I'll send you my cell phone number. We'll chat, and I can help you with
Absolutely.
some. I can help you with old school Republicans like myself that are constitutionalist Republicans that will not ever vote for a MAGA again.
I love this.
What are you doing
Magic.
right now? What are you doing right now? Because you have the exact same situation in your state that I'm seeing here. You went and got your voters list. You're seeing what's happening. 2/3 of every person under the age of 30 now are not declaring a party. How are you trying to get to your constituency to stop thinking about doing the bubble and start thinking about the name?
So this district, there's more no party folks in Louisiana's District 4 than there are Republicans or Democrats. And what I have been trying to do is keep the conversation focused on affordability, kitchen table issues, and economics. And really, if you look at my website, we're running a populist campaign. Every single policy position that we're standing on, the majority of people agree with, and the majority of people support. And I believe that if those policies were enacted tomorrow, that it would start immediately making life better for folks. And what I have been trying to do is have empathy with people and not to and listen to what people have to say. So often I feel like politicians talk to people instead of talk with people. And I'm not afraid to show up anywhere. We're also planning a series of town halls for every parish. I think that we can see with someone like Speaker Johnson, he has issued the directive for the Republican delegation to not host town halls within their districts. Some have disobeyed him, but we have not seen him in the district be available for his constituents outside of $1,000 a table lunches for like Chamber of Commerce, Farm Bureau, whatever. And
when is your primary?
well, tentatively, it just got moved, and it still has a tentative date. I believe it is May 16th or 15th. With all the redistricting stuff, the Louisiana legislature is getting ahead of the incoming Supreme Court decision that we'll have next year about, I believe that is Louisiana versus Calais is the Supreme Court decision that we're waiting on regarding redistricting and Article 2 of the Civil Rights Act. But what I understand is that people want access to affordable health care. People want that. A lot of folks don't want less government, but folks want a less corrupt government. And the the motto that I keep using is the government should work for working people. And I have been able to, I feel like, make a lot of strides with conservative voters. One, because I am talking to people about the values that we have as Louisianans, which, in my opinion, it is we're called to love our neighbors. And then we also, for the most part, treat other people how we want to be treated. And I think that a lot of, especially the no party voters, they really look at someone like Mike Johnson and they understand that he represents his special interest and that he actually doesn't represent the interest of the majority of 85-90% of his constituents, right?
Yep.
And so I think that yeah, that's how I've been trying to reach people, as well as, get our volunteers trained up so we can do the call time and the door knocking that we need to.
Well, Johnson doesn't have his name on a single piece of legislation ever for schools, not once. I'm sure you probably already know that record. That will be a very helpful thing for you when you're, especially when you're talking, what we are. We're a deep red states. You, me, Mississippi, Georgia. I mean, we could say Florida, but they've gone back and forth over the years. We have been nothing but red forever. And you got blue dots in your state. I got a few blue dots in my state, but it's hard to reach. But I mean, I will say this: I have noticed a big swing in what they're seeing now. That affordability thing has backfired really heavily, and Johnson backed that really big, saying, "Oh yeah, we never mentioned affordability." And Johnson's literally, I call him Mr. Pinocchio. I mean, that's what he is. He just lies about everything. I mean, Trump is the most pathological liar on the face of the planet, but Johnson is Pinocchio because he follows along and then he believes the lie. I mean, he sticks to that and he believes that. And I've met him about a dozen times, and I've never cared for him. And I would recommend this. Like, here the Democrats came to me and they asked me if I would run against Tommy Tuberville, for governor. And the thing is, I'm not a famous football coach, and what's going to happen. He's going to stand there. I would talk policy day and night, and he will stand there and talk about Iron Bowl games, and I will still lose to him. And it will, and it's tough when you leave the Republican Party. A lot of Republicans then look at you as a traitor if you go over to the Democrat side too. I can't beat them, but what I did say to them as I sat down with them and I said I would do like Harris does now, because if she was like she is on that book tour where she's saying the MF word quite often, and it's all their fault, and your uncle, your aunt, your grandmother, the reason why they don't have health care right now, it's their fault. And it literally is Johnson's fault, because his name is, not only did he vote, but his name is attached to the big, beautiful bill and multiple facets on the big, beautiful bill. And you'll want to be pointing that. I know I'm probably giving you a little, you know all this, but, if you ever do need anything and you need some Republicans from my side down there, I do know a lot of them that are still, we're still here. We have a grassroots movement. The other day, just yesterday, somebody sent me a picture from Washington State, which is a blue state, and it's a big banner. I never asked anybody to buy T-shirts or banners or anything. Go down to Kinko's, get your own, make your own for $10. It says Republican, not MAGA. Get out. We want our party back. We have to unify now. This is not Republicans versus Democrats anymore.
Exactly.
It's the people versus MAGA, and we have to make a difference now.
Yeah, and there's two really big things that conservatives. It just seems like the MAGA movement is really disconnected from a lot of voices in the conservative party. But there's two big policy issues that I think that conservatives really care about. And one, a lot of these folks who are crying the loudest about immigration and hardworking people replacing American jobs, they should be screaming from the rooftops about artificial intelligence. And the fact that the big, beautiful bill has no AI regulation for the next 10 years, and that is
Terrifying.
An unalive nail in working people's coffins. It is really scary.
I in my spare time, in my professional life, I am actually a voice actor, and AI terrifies me. It terrifies me. It's coming to take away my job. And that sucks. It's a great tool. It needs regulation. It absolutely needs regulation. There's no getting around it.
Yeah. And these guys who want to talk about the abundance that is going to come with, we are facing the emergence of the most powerful technology that humanity has ever created. And it is coming without any guardrails. And these guys who are going to be, these tech bro billionaires who are already consolidating an incredible amount of wealth through their cloud capitalism, they are not going to be motivated in any way to share that even more consolidated wealth that artificial intelligence will create for them with anybody else. And all of these attacks on the social safety net are happening in conjunction with this workforce revolution that our country is going to be seeing. And I think that we live in a really rural place, and some folks could give a damn about crypto or AI, but a lot of people are waking up to it. And it's starting with the data centers that are being built around here. And also another big environmental issue that Republicans and Democrats care about in Louisiana, especially in South Louisiana, is carbon capture. It's also called CCS, and it's where these companies are taking carbon dioxide and then pumping it underground, trying to store it there, and then they build power plants on top of it to I'm a little unfamiliar with the process.
Southern Louisianans are really worried about the water. After the hurricane, you had all that salt water that contaminated the drinking water. I mean, your water is already, we're doing that here. I have a town hall against Katie Britt coming up, where we're going to be battling her for a 300-acre AI farm in Madison, Alabama, that only she promised 40,000 jobs by December 31st. That's 40 jobs. That's all that employs for 300 acres, 40 jobs. And we currently buy water from Mississippi and Tennessee for northern Alabama.
Really?
We buy power. District 7 buys power from my district because they're short, because it's Huntsville, and then you got the Space Center, and you got the base and everything. They're buying power from our district, and we're selling it to them at a rack rate. Well, they want, what she wants us to do is sell it to them at 50%. This isn't, and that water, after it's done, it's useless. It can't be used for anything.
It's
where are you going to put it?
With heavy metals.
Yeah. So I see this all the time. Now, I'm just looking briefly on my iPad right here. And I had a Zoom meeting last week at Doug Jones after he decided that he's going to go ahead and put in for the primary. And he rang me and he says, "I need your help. He goes, I know you got Katie Britt 45,000 votes. Please help me." And I said, "You know what? If you were a trained monkey, I would still tell my people to vote for you before I would vote for Katie Britt again, or Tommy Tuberville." So we're actually primarying here an old school former Navy SEAL, Christian conservative, but not a MAGA, and we're primarying him for what would now be Tommy Tuberville's seat. So, and we're primarying him against a MAGA who already has $20 million of the damn funding to run for a Senate seat. This is insane.
It is.
And I say this. I'm gonna point something out that I pointed out to Doug, and Doug goes, "Send me that list right now." In your state, just briefly, just an easy internet search, you currently have 6 farms, major farms, that are in foreclosure. Okay, you have, just looking at Acre Traders. Acre Traders has already bought 14 farms in your state. Acre Traders turns around and sells those farms to companies from India, China, Russia, Serbia, Montenegro. Are we letting foreign countries own our farms and own our food? This is insanity. And I'm just giving you a little something to fire back at Johnson, because Johnson, once again, has never done anything. His name is not attached to a single piece of legislation for the subsidies. Now, Trump comes out today and says he's going to give $12 billion to the farmers. We already subsidized the farmers for $17.5 billion. Technically, you're giving them less money than we gave them last year. It doesn't make any sense to promise something that's less than what you already were given.
Yeah, and none of it had to happen. Like all of this, like we are still feeling the effects. And this is squarely on Donald Trump, but I think that Joe Biden didn't go far enough in reversing a lot of the tariffs that he instituted on China during his first term, because commodity farmers here in Louisiana. They're growing cotton, soybeans, and corn, and they rely on soybeans especially. And it used to be a $1.5 billion industry here in Louisiana, but now they're doing good if soybeans bring in 500 million. And I live in also District 4 has so many little small towns that had industry move in, like, different paper mills and
Georgia
things like
Pacific.
that.
You got Georgia Pacific in a heavy way in your state.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, logging is a huge industry, but we've had so much industry leave small towns in Louisiana, and I feel like we are about to see the same thing happen, where we lose a significant portion of our agriculture industry because, like you said, you can go online and the last time that I looked, there were more than 200 farms for sale in Louisiana. And so people are getting tired of it because it has been almost a decade of steady declines where folks aren't thriving. They're just trying to survive. And there's a lot of commodity farms that are doing really well, but those commodity farmers that have 80 to, let's just say, 1,000 acres are really having a hard time. And none of it had to happen. That's the most frustrating thing about it, is that we didn't have to be in this situation at all. And I think that something seriously has to change, and Congress needs to do its constitutional diligence and end these trade wars and hold the executive branch accountable, because it's not just the agriculture sector that's being affected, it's every single American. And as a small business owner, I have such empathy and sympathy for what so many small business owners are going through, and doing your best to come out on top every month is getting harder and harder to do for no reason.
Well,
Yeah,
leave it to Donald Trump to create a giant problem and then swoop in and fix the problem that he,
Yeah, look, that official statement on that $12 billion for farmers is wild
It's
to read. My
hysterical,
brother and
isn't
I
it?
read it out loud and we laughed.
I just sat there dumbfounded. I mean, I literally was like, did he write this himself? Because if he wrote it himself, it makes kind of sense. But I'm like, this doesn't make. I don't understand how we're red states, man. I mean, I hate to break it to, I don't get me wrong. My grandfather, my great grandfather 10 was Jonathan Dayton, the youngest person to sign the Constitution. I'm an old school constitutionalist Republican. I'm the guy that voted for Obama twice because I love a constitutional lawyer, not to mention the fact that he was the best spoken president to me since Ronald Reagan. I mean, he reached the people like he was supposed to do. We look, Biden did phenomenal on his foreign policy. You're right, though. He didn't reverse the tariffs enough, but every president does something bad and good. And even in our states, look, we don't want to be controlled by the federal. That was the whole idea of being anti-federalists.
yes.
That's what we are when we're a state. You represent us at the federal level to protect us. And we're going to have to see less people that don't care anymore. And when you have somebody so sold out like Johnson, that is just so bought and paid for, I mean, I'm dealing, Florida lost the Heritage Foundation because of the legislation let their state school board make the decision. Here in Alabama, I don't know what your legislation is there, but here in Alabama, they let city and county school boards make the decision. We've been battling them month in and month out to keep them out of our schools. And I'm a board of 4 Republicans, 1's MAGA, and 3 Democrats. And even the MAGA votes with us because he doesn't want to end up on TV, shown that he voted against us. So it's tough right now. But I would say this, Conrad, man, point all that out. Democrats have been the nicest people to ever run against for every one of us. My cousin was governor of Minnesota. He said, we are the nicest people to run against. We campaign better, and unfortunately, MAGA learned a trick from us. We campaign 8, 12 years ahead. I'm sure you've heard that. I don't know what company's representing you and helping you with your election, but I'm sure somebody told you that already. That we're thinking 8, 12 years ahead. Unfortunately, MAGA learned that from us, to think like we're playing chess instead of checkers, okay? You guys are the nicest campaigners ever. You're polite. You win where you're supposed to win, and you're the party of the people. I'm the party of government. We're supposed to do the government stuff, and we're checks and balances. And then I need your votes, and you need my votes to do the socialist stuff that everybody deserves. And somewhere along the lines, that's gotten so blurred over the last 3 decades, at least, if not 5 decades.
Yeah.
It's gotten so blurred. My grandfather once said to me, James Roberts Dayton said, if you ever get talked into the family, because Dayton's currently hold 31 seats across the United States, and he said, if you ever get talked into being in the family business, you don't represent just whatever, because he was a Democrat, I'm a Republican. And he said, if whatever party you're going to represent, you don't represent the party. You don't represent, the Republicans or the Democrats or the independent party. The biggest people that you represent in your district is the people who don't vote. In my district, that's 71% of the people don't actually register to vote. And we've forgotten about the people. You said it perfectly when you said Johnson doesn't come to town halls anymore at all. Point that out. I went up against a person that never came to a single debate. I stood there like an idiot, and then they would give me 5 minutes to talk about myself, but never showed up to debate me.
Yeah, Mike Johnson doesn't debate either.
No.
Nope. It's funny, all of the Republican congressional representatives are.
Not Tommy
I don't know
Tuberville
if they're.
either.
Well, yeah, but I mean, mine has never held a town hall, and I don't think he's ever going to. Like, they're scared.
Yeah,
I don't know if they're
they
scared.
know the policy is
or,
unpopular.
Yeah.
They know it's unpopular.
And he posted on his Instagram page the other day this big old long thing from Trump about how awesome he was. And I'm like, bro, that's not a flex. Like, don't post that.
Well, I'm going to step down, Conrad, and let somebody else come up. It was a pleasure meeting you.
Pleasure as well, Marcus. I can't wait to reach out.
Yeah, send me a message, man. I'm going to help you down there or over there. I'm going to help you over there with some old school Republicans that need to show up. Look, they can skip over the presidential. I know they won't vote for Trump. If they won't vote for a Democrat, that's fine. Skip over those boxes. There's a lot of other stuff down there that we need to vote for. In 26, we need them to turn out in a big way, look. We're going to have to learn that, it's not about a party anymore. It's about the person. We need good, solid human beings that do the work for the people. And
I think I'm just country enough to pull a bunch of those no party folks. So.
I know it. And
you got that charm.
Vote. Hey, you ain't got kids, man, but you're younger. You're 34. I'm 55. It's hard for me to address a 25-year-old and get their vote. So I wish you the best, Conrad. Reach out to me, brother.
Thank you, Marcus. Absolutely.
Take care.
Thank
Jess,
you,
can you drop me
Marcus.
down so I can keep listening?
I got you. No worries. Thank you so much for popping up. I appreciate you as always. You're always welcome. We need good Republicans who see that we are in some deep doo-doo to step up and help because, we're us Democrats. Okay, here's the thing. Us Democrats are going to keep yelling. We're going to keep yelling. We've been yelling. We're going to keep yelling. We're going to be louder. We're going to be meaner. We're going to get in the dirt. We're going to do politics the way that they do politics. But the only people that are going to move Republicans are Republicans. So I love that Marcus comes up and talks on all of, my panels, all these other panels he goes to talk to people. I think it's really important, and we need more Republicans who are willing to stand up and do that. So thank you so much for doing that, my friend.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It is super awesome. So we had you scheduled to come onto the show in October, I believe, early October, and you had some broadband. Broadband is a big thing because you're in rural Louisiana, and you don't have the most reliable internets. Can you talk to me about what your platform is surrounding that? Because I know your staff at the time were like, this is a big issue for us, and I would love for you to talk about what you plan to do to make broadband a national priority when you get into Congress.
Yes, so here in Louisiana, 1/3 of rural people don't have access to affordable internet, or
Mm-hmm.
and these are 1/3 of folks who don't have internet at their homes at all. And it causes me a lot of anxiety and a lot of worry because starting next year, we have all of these new work requirements that are coming down the pipe. And outside of the local library, which here in Union Parish, we have one library, and I don't know how people, I think that a lot of people are going to slip through the cracks and not be able to access the help that they need. And I'm also really concerned about our children's future, because if we want them to succeed in a globalized economy, then they have to have access to the internet.
Absolutely.
And so you can look on my website, Conrad for Congress 2026.com. And under my priorities, we are going to be pushing as hard as we can to, I mean, it's not going far enough because I think that we need New Deal levels of infrastructure investment. But I think that infrastructure we have to prioritize is one, fast, affordable, reliable internet access for every single person. And I believe that we have to have clean water for all of our communities, because I go to too many school board meetings where the members there are talking about how we get clean water in our schools. And it's 2025 and we can do better than that.
Yeah.
And if these data centers are going to continue to be part of our society and our economy, I don't see them just going away overnight. A place like Meta's new data center in Richland Parish here in North Louisiana, it's going to use up to 10 million gallons of water a day that has to be processed drinking water, because if there's impurities in the water, it causes the equipment to corrode. And so the infrastructure is going to be stressed and pressed and could fracture in so many places, where here in Louisiana, we already have 84 water districts that received an F last year. And it's unacceptable that, like, call me whatever you want, but I believe that healthcare and fresh, healthy food and clean water are all human rights that people deserve to have access to. And in our digital age, you can throw internet access up there with human rights, because people have to have it if you want to be able to succeed and to be able to live your life, because everything you do, so many of our bills, so many things to do with our work are now related and done online, and folks have to have that. I mean, I was in New Orleans a few months ago, and I needed to go in to get my hair cut, and the barber couldn't run my credit card because their internet was down. And so, like, I want to also just make that quick point that internet access doesn't just help everyday people like you and me. It's essential for our local economies and our small businesses to be able to make a living.
Yeah, it's something that I definitely noticed too. I'm in a very rural part of Texas, and our internet out here is not the most reliable thing ever. And nowadays, when you go to school, when you're a kid and you go to school, they give you a laptop. And that's what there's no more textbooks anymore. There's no more, like, the college ruled notepads or all of the things that we had when we were kids, right? It's a laptop. And that's what you are expected to carry with you throughout your whole school age career. But if you don't have any internet, it's a very fancy paperweight. So
Exactly.
I love that you speak on this. I love that it is a focus for you, and I wanted to give you an opportunity to share that, because it's not something that it's something that affects a huge amount of people. But when you're talking about women's rights and education and the ice cream people kidnapping people off the streets. And you're talking about all of these things that are going on and the camel that's hitting us in the face all the time. Broadband is kind of low on the list of things that, that people are really urgently concerned about. So I love that you are able to talk about it and kind of, oh yeah, and then, there's this other thing that we need to also consider.
Well, the media might not be concerned about it, but I guarantee you that 60, 70% of the people who live here in the district think about their internet all the time. And a lot of folks think about it because they're already living paycheck to paycheck, and the internet that we can access is expensive. And
Yeah.
I think, look, so we live in a natural gas state, and so it may not make sense for every other state, but I believe that your internet here in Louisiana should be as cheap as your natural gas bill for your house. And, that looks like something around $30 a month. And it has to do better than $150 or $200 a month. I mean, oh my God.
I honestly think that
I know that.
I think they're
No, go ahead.
honestly. I think that they're gouging us. I honestly think that if they were regulated to have to make they were only allowed to make like a 30% profit or something off of their access, then it would be so much more affordable. But their profit margins are way bigger than that. And we're the ones paying for it. So, yeah, that's...
Yeah, and bills have to go down because, I mean, with all of these data centers, I know that Georgia and Virginia are two of the epicenters of data centers here. And just look at how much people are paying for electricity in those two states. It is alarming. I think that the last person I talked to had said that Georgia had increased 200% in their average energy bill, which is I know that if our energy bill increased that much, we would probably not be able to afford our mortgage and we would have to start looking for a new house.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, and just a reminder, everybody, I know, don't be shy, okay? Conrad doesn't bite that I know of, right? You've got your rabies shot, I hope. So if you have a question, please pop up. Come on up and ask a question. It's going to be great. Yeah, I think that it's super awesome. So can you tell me what food security is a big deal for you? But can you tell me what other issue is we as constituents, we as voters, a lot of the time we are single issue voters, right? Women's rights, bodily autonomy, that's a big thing for me because I have a 10-year-old daughter in Texas. That's a big deal. She should have the same rights as another kid living in California. And they don't, and it sucks. Voter access is another big thing for me. The rules should be the same every freaking where. I don't understand. I don't understand why this is an issue. Why is it harder for me to exercise my vote than it is for the people in California? So we have just a couple of things, one or two things that are passionate front of mind for us to really get involved. But you're a candidate and you have to have your hands in every single pot and have to have stats available for every single issue. But what is another thing aside from food security that is top of mind for you, that when you go to every stump speech, every town hall, everything you do, it's something that you talk about because it is so important to you?
Yeah, so I believe that the food policy positions that we're standing on, they go hand in hand with a preventative healthcare system that can be run through a legislation like Medicare for All. And so that is something that I talk about in every stump speech because I grew up with my mom, or with people in the community telling me all the time how much of a talented artist my mom is. And my mom has an art degree from the University of Louisiana, Monroe, but she chose to go work at a corporate job and she set aside her dreams of becoming an artist so that my brother and I and our family would have health insurance. Mm-hmm. And so I think that all too often, and that's not even, a tragic story like what happens whenever people face medical bankruptcy or if they die because they're not able to access care. But
right.
I think that making healthcare available to everyone is an overwhelmingly popular position to take, even amongst Republicans, because they understand what it means for their parents or their grandparents to have Medicare and Medicaid. And, not only do we have to advocate after the midterms for a better healthcare system, but we have to reverse the cuts to Medicare and Medicaid from the big ugly bill, because here in Louisiana's 4th congressional district, that is going to close 11 rural hospitals, including the main hospital here in Union Parish where I live, and that is going to cause people to be prematurely unalive. And it doesn't have to be that way, but people are going to be facing medical emergencies if they live in a rural place and they have to drive more than an hour to the nearest hospital, and that is unacceptable. And the conversation that I don't hear people talking about is little small towns of 10,000 to 1,000 people oftentimes rely on a community health clinic, and the closure of those, because they're dependent on Medicare and Medicaid funding as well. I haven't even seen or heard or been able to find a statistic about how many of those rural clinics could potentially close. And people just deserve to be treated with dignity and respect. And also, so many, I'm just like blue in the face from saying this. Like, people missed the point or the moral of the story of the Good Samaritan. And it is the Samaritan and the Jewish man did not like each other, or are not supposed to like each other. And what my grandmother taught me is that saying that someone is your neighbor, it doesn't mean that they live next to you. And she taught me to extend love and respect to everyone, especially people who think differently than me. And I just can't understand how I can read the same Bible as Mike Johnson and come away with understanding that we are called to heal the sick, not bankrupt them. And I just really like the comparison is like, we need Mike Johnson's heart to grow a few sizes. But this guy, you can't even compare him to the Grinch, because at least the Grinch had a redemption arc.
Yeah, and he's just, it seems like he's just interested in one thing, and it's not Louisiana. It feels like from somebody who's not in your district and somebody who's just looking from the outside in. I hate the guy. But I feel like he is only interested in enriching himself and not the people that he's supposed to represent. It's maddening. It's absolutely maddening to me. And I'm not sure how you communicate to his supporters that it's a problem. So how do you, when you are out and about in your neighborhoods, in your areas, how do you communicate to them without getting the door shut in your face? But how do you bring them onto your side? What's your strategy?
Yeah, well, it's asking them specifically, what has Mike Johnson done or gotten accomplished within the district, or how has Mike Johnson made your life better? And I also talk to people about the dangers of Mike Johnson being a tyrant and the lieutenant of tyranny in this country. And I say that because Thomas Jefferson told us 200 years ago that there are 3 tenets of tyranny that we have to be mindful of, and that is the morbidly rich, the warlord king, and theocrats. And Mike Johnson is one breath away from saying that his political power is ordained and sanctioned by God. He has called himself the Moses of the Republican Party and has said that God told him that he was the Moses of the Republican Party. And I think that rhetoric like that is extremely dangerous. I think that we absolutely have to have, you can be a follower of Christ and you can also be a representative that looks out for working people.
Like James Tallarico.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
But I really do think that a lot of people, there's going to be that 30% of the Republicans that are absolutely cooked on MAGA propaganda, and you can try to reach those folks. I'm not going to not talk to those people, but a lot of John McCain style traditional Republicans, they see the danger in that, and it is not a trick that is being played on them. But I'm telling you, Mike Johnson thinks that his constituents are a bunch of dumb rednecks. And that is exactly how he talks to us whenever he is within the district. And he also isn't concerned with passing any legislation that benefits people in his district. So I try to reach people with that because, we live in a Christian culture and a Christian society down here in Louisiana. And I think that we have to hold our elected officials to a higher standard whenever they are going to talk about their faith, and then whenever they are going to actively work on making life not just worse for people, but taking away important benefits and programs that keep people alive.
Yeah.
It's
church and state are supposed to be separate. Like church and state are supposed to be separate, right?
Yeah, we can take our values with us, but I'm sorry, Mike Johnson, we live in a place that has a secular government. We do not have a religious authority, and Americans don't want a religious authority that starts to erode our constitutional rights. We want for people to have the freedom to express themselves in any way that they want. And that's why I really do have such a libertarian attitude towards LGBTQ IA plus issues, or especially for abortion or women's healthcare, is because I'm not going to go around. Well, I'm not going to go around and tell anyone how they're supposed to live their life. And that is because I don't want anyone coming to my house and telling me how I have to live my life. And so I think that to me, it boils down to an individual liberty and personal freedom stance on both of those issues. But the Republican Party has become small enough to where it can fit inside all of our underwear. And it's weird.
It is so weird. It is so weird. My ex is a libertarian, and we have this talk all the time. He's a big time libertarian guy, and I'm like, here, look, this ideology only works when people do the right thing, when people are always going to do the right thing. Libertarianism doesn't work because people aren't doing the right thing anymore. They're doing what's best for them. They're not doing what's best for the community. It's not a community-based ideology. So yes. And with that, let me ask you one more question, and then I'm going to bring on over our activist. But how do you feel about regulating or legalizing the devil's lettuce in Louisiana? Where do you stand?
Oh, it absolutely should happen. That's no joke. It's 2025 and we're still having conversations and we're still locking up people because of, I was going to say the scientific name or the Latin name, but, but yeah, so, we have to, it just blows my mind how these guys want to talk about we're the party of small government, but then like we see how big they can make government and how
Yeah.
they can, use violence through the government to control what people do in their spare time. And it's just like, brother, we already don't have enough money coming in. And you can see so many states, it started with Colorado in this country. And we just see state after state that have been able to use the tax money in a really progressive way to move their society forward.
Yeah, California's doing amazing things.
Look, I think that, and look, I'm not a health expert. I didn't go to medical school, but I have seen firsthand the detrimental effects that alcohol abuse has on people. And I think that it is such a safer alternative for people who are already going to choose to, life is tough for so many people. I know that for me, it's like I've been playing the game with loaded dice because so many times the roll comes up in my favor, but that just doesn't happen for everybody. Yeah. And I just think that if these guys were really serious about small government, if these guys were serious about growing the local or the state economy, that it's just a no-brainer. It's just really backwards, but it's also because these guys are controlled by the private prison lobbyists. And, here, like, in addition to my call time to try to get some fundraising in, I have a parish by parish list of elected officials that I spend time, connecting with them every single day. And it is absolutely mind numbing and maddening. Like, more so than any Republicans upset me, it's whenever I call Democrats who are like, our parish needs private prisons. And I'm like, oh.
No.
I'm like,
wait,
oh. But, it all fits. It all fits within the systemic failures that we see happening because we may be we've been governed by Republicans for the last 20 years here in Louisiana, and we see how those guys have locked up more people than North Korea.
Yeah. It's Louisiana is not in a good space with Republican leadership, and that slide that I showed earlier definitely outlines that. It's really time for a change.
A lot of it is Democrats' faults. Like I think that we have to be real and we have to be honest, but our state party has not been. We took for granted our popularity with Louisiana's population. And whenever the Democratic Party started going in more of the corporatist route and we started losing a lot of those blue collar, working class and rural votes, it happened because the Democratic Party wasn't organized. Yeah. We spent all of those years in power just kind of relaxing in the hot tub. And while Republicans were in the minority, they organized and they put together really strong outreach on a parish by parish level. And the Democratic Party didn't do that. And so we have to just recognize that, yes, the Republicans controlled this state, but they controlled it because the Democrats really did drop the ball. And so all I'm trying to do is be the change, not just in politics that I want to see, but I'm doing my best to be the change within the Democratic Party because we have seen how outsiders and how grassroots candidates this year alone have moved the needle on talking about so many of these national issues. And look, the DNC did not, and I just had a conversation with one of my family members this past week where they thought that the DNC had been the ones who had handed me my platform positions. And I'm like, no. I decided what this campaign is going to stand on because I'm a working person and I know the day-to-day struggles in living paycheck to paycheck and what the government needs to do to solve a lot of these affordability issues. And I'm not an expert, but I do have the ability to empathize and sympathize with people. And I'm really thankful for my English degree because it gave me some really great research skills. And also, I have the ability to analyze information and be able to make a solid judgment based on that information. So I know that the next portion that we'll be moving to is answering questions in the chat. And I'm going to be upfront and honest. If I don't know the answer, I'm not going to spend a bunch of bull crap. I'm just going to tell you upfront that I don't know the answer, but I will do my research and get back with you on an answer and a position.
Yeah, that's fair. Do you have a primary opponent?
There was a fellow who announced a couple of weeks ago. His name is Matt Gorlich, I believe. He's another outsider. I believe he's a professor at a university in Shreveport, but I don't know much about him. I've never met Matt before.
Okay,
but everyone has said that he seems like a good guy.
Here's my plea to you as a person who has a primary opponent. Save the shit slinging for the Republicans. Please.
Oh, look, I have no intention. Look, Democrats get beat up by everybody, including ourselves. So yes. I do not have any plans on talking smack or running a dirty campaign. I am absolutely focused on the fact that I believe that the platform that I'm standing on is the platform that most represents the interest of constituents in Louisiana's 4th Congressional District.
Because if Louisiana is anything like Texas, the Democrats in Louisiana are beaten down. And your job, yours and Matt's job right now should be to inspire people to get out and vote. Because
we gotta beat the couch.
That is the thing. You guys got to work together to inspire people to be excited about both of you. The best man's going to win, right? The best man's going to win, and your district is going to be freaking set as long as it's not Mike Johnson. So,
hey, look, it's a long way to qualifying, so anything can happen.
Anything can happen, but see each other. Please see each other as allies. You guys are working for the same goal. You guys are working for the same thing. You're working for your people, and that is so, so, so important. But I think that getting people inspired to vote is going to be our number one job, in this primary season. People are already on fire, but especially in states like yours and mine, Democrats are just tired. They're tired. So
I know and so many people are still depressed. And so I've been doing my absolute best to leave people after I give a stump speech feeling hope and feeling a little bit of inspiration, because I know that after last November, I was not in a good place. I
don't think anybody was. It was devastating.
Man, November through March. Well, I mean, hell, every single day is just like, what is going on? But I really feel like, whenever Doge was in there doing a bunch of malarkey and whenever the rhetoric was just turned up really high, it was just not a great feeling to be a Democrat.
Yeah, I feel you. And I feel like...
But I think that we're getting it turned around, though.
I do, too. I mean, if you look at what happened with Afton Baines, with her run, that was inspiring. That was amazing. That was like, yes, please force them to spend big in their safe little seats and scare them. Let's scare them. Please, let's scare them. I want to scare them all. It's going to be great.
Look, we all have to fight, and we all can't forget that so many of the states, especially anybody who is joining us from the South, redistricting is a real possibility. And the media that I have seen is that if the Republican legislatures all redistrict after that civil rights or the Supreme Court Louisiana versus Calais case, that Republicans could pick up 19 seats in the House of Representatives, which, I mean, look, Louisiana is not a red state. Louisiana is a rigged state. And so these guys have taken every opportunity for the last 30 years to gerrymander and disenfranchise and rig the system so that their unpopular policies continue to win, even though they don't represent the people at the ballot box.
Can I give you like a hot take here? Every single red state is a gerrymandered and rigged state. Every single one.
100%.
Because the people that live there
100%.
are not represented. And I hear it from the people in Tennessee. I hear it from the people in Florida. I hear it from the people in Georgia, in Louisiana, in Mississippi, in Alabama, in Arkansas, and Wyoming, and on and on and on. So, yes, that is something that should be fixed immediately when you get into Congress. That should be number one. Voting access and fair voting maps nationwide.
Right. Look, how is democracy supposed to function whenever only 30% of the population is casting a ballot? And the answer is that it's not.
It's not.
So,
But that's the part.
You know-
that's not the bug. That's the feature. You know.
yeah. Look, I remember back like right around 2014, 2015, whenever I started learning more and more about how progressive states are increasing voter access.
Mhm.
And like, I just remember going to like debates for the Louisiana legislature and just being dumbfounded that these guys, and this was back before you could even register online, but these, like, there were people up on that stage who didn't support registering to vote online, who wanted to take 30 days after you register, before your registration is official.
Mm-hmm.
Folks who want to cut and limit the number of voting locations.
Yes.
And there's, I mean, the list just goes on and on of how many different tactics. And also, I think it's the voter purges that happen. And like, I signed so many documents for my mortgage, like a huge loan and so many things, like on
your
DocuSign.
phone.
And you just can't tell me that there is not a secure method for people to be able to vote online. And I even think I support legislation to where you face a small, maybe like tax penalty if you do not vote. But I don't think that happens until the government does everything that it can to make it as easy and convenient to vote as possible. Especially, we live in we're having conversations about AI and data centers, and people can't vote on their phones. Like, what century are we living in?
Can I just, for a second, hang on. I'm getting verklempt. Okay, I'm getting verklempt. Get yourself some coffee. I have been saying this. I have been shouting this for years. Okay? You are the first person who is running for office that I have ever heard say that. And I didn't even have to bring it up. You brought it up yourself. Like, this is an amazing moment. Everybody clock this moment. This is so amazing. Because here's my story. You can share this on your stump rally too, okay? I moved here to Texas from California. In California, they have mail-in ballots. They have a ballot on every corner. Like, you could go drop off your ballot and pick up a cup of coffee at the same time. Like, it was great. It was wonderful. It was easy. You had plenty of time to do it. Everything was electronic. You go get your driver's license. You can register to vote at the same time. You could do it online. You could do it you could do it at whatever. It was great. And I moved here at the end of September. Okay. I had already received my mail-in ballot, but I didn't mail it in because we knew we were moving. So I moved here, and they put you in a straw suit, and then they make you jump through flaming hoops to vote. So not only was they demand that you have a Texas driver's license. Well, the only way you can get a Texas driver's license is to make an appointment, which you can do online, but the soonest appointment is going to be in February. Okay. And then you have to go physically down to your registrar's office, which is like 45 minutes away, to fill out a little card.
Yeah,
Fill out all
same
this
here.
information on the card. And then, you have to wait for that to be processed. Okay, well, when you get that back, that's great. Then you show up to your polling location on the day of. There's only one, no mail-in ballots. You have to show up on the day of. But your polling location is 45 minutes away. And it's not a holiday. It's not a holiday. It's 45 minutes away. And you have to drive there with your kids in the back of the car, just because this one time you're going to be late for school, but it's fine. Like, what are you supposed to do? They don't make it easy. And it's crazy to me that in the promise of America, right? We have to struggle to exercise the promise that we were given. Well, the people in California are like having a great time. They're like, this is great. They're probably super close to being able to vote with their thumbprint on their phone. Like, I don't even know anymore. But that you said that, like, voting should be easy. It should be accessible. It should be a holiday for F's sake. Like, it should be something that everybody has the same access to across the board. We were given a promise. As Americans, we were given a promise, and I feel like especially red states who cheat frequently with their gerrymandering and their voter roll issues and their, that all of the things that they're doing break that promise to us every election cycle. And it's devastating.
Yeah. It was super concerning for me in the 2004 race whenever there's like several states, especially in the South. I'm thinking like Florida, Georgia, maybe Alabama, but people could call in on like a foreign sounding name and report name after name to be removed from the voter roll. Like, what the absolute hell?
And they're doing that. It's ridiculous. Like, anybody with the last name Lopez or Ramirez or anything, like, they're taking them all off. It's absolutely insane. And it's just like one Karen. It's one Karen who's just deciding, I can do this myself. She's not even like an elected. It's not an elected person or anything.
Yeah, just a keyboard warrior.
Just somebody who had a bad day at the grocery store picking up her kale salad. I don't understand it. I don't understand how this is allowed. What is happening?
Yeah, well, if everyone voted, then the political class would lose their power because, here, especially in a state like Louisiana, we have a really strong history of supporting populist candidates who, one of my favorite Huey P. Long quotes is, they can't outpromise me.
I love it.
Like, it's so great. The other one is, how many of y'all ever been to a barbecue? That's my other favorite one. But yeah, like if everyone exercised their right to vote, and that's the thing, like that's the sticker, is that these guys think that it is a privilege, not a right, and that is to me un-American.
Well, yeah. They only want there's only a certain type of person that they want that privilege to exist for also. And sadly, it's people that look like me and you. So,
Hey, look, I am pretty far from being the white moderate. So I was able to read MLK and realize how you're not supposed to be. Yes. And there's a lot of times whenever it's just about, being white and trying to understand other cultures. There's just moments whenever you just need to shut up and listen.
Exactly. You can't listen if your mouth is moving. So that's right. I tell my kids that all the time. If you're listening, your mouth is moving. I can't tell. Okay, well, let's switch gears for a second. Do you have time, or are you off to run somewhere? I know we're running a little bit behind tonight, but I wanted to make sure that you're good.
No, I'm good. I just need to try to have some dinner cooked by 8 p.m. whenever my wife gets home.
That's fair. No worries. We won't take too much more of your time. I appreciate you sticking around with us. Thank you so, so, so much. We're going to switch gears for a second because I want to talk to a fabulous lady who runs a fabulous business called Not Your Merch. We do Activist Alley in our little show. And usually it's at about 6:20. Are you on Eastern time? You're not. You're Central, right? You're Central with
I'm
me?
Central, yeah.
Yeah, so it's usually at about 6:20. We're running a little over tonight. No, that's totally fine. But we do a little Activist Alley section, and that is to inspire people to get involved. Our Activist Alley section is where polite politics goes to die, real power gets built. So it's Tuesday. And no, it's Monday. It's Monday. Oh, my Lord. What day of the week is it? It's Monday. And tonight we're going to talk to our friends, Not Your Merch. Hey, Jenny. Not Your Merch makes bold political merchandise, and they do it for the purpose of building a coalition of incredible, amazing, brave people who are willing to wear their voice on their chest. And the reason that I'm bringing them up is because when I moved to Texas, I had no idea what I was doing here. It's a very different culture. And when you are a Democrat and when you're a blue dot in a red state, it can feel incredibly isolating and lonely and like you are by yourself. And then I found V and Jenny, and they have given me the opportunity and the privilege and the power to wear bold political merchandise that speaks my voice on my chest. And so I know that I'm not alone because I'll be walking down the grocery store and somebody will be like, "Oh my God, I love your shirt. Thank you for, I found another one. I'm not alone." It's a wonderful feeling. It's so amazing. So I wanted to bring you guys on to tell your story because I know this is like, I'm sure there would be something else you guys would rather be doing than fighting fascism, right? But here we are fighting fascism every day. I want to play Borderlands. So
right. I just started playing Hogwarts Legacy. I'm in love with the game. Yeah. Can't stop playing it. I stayed up till like 3 a.m. on Saturday. I can't remember the last time I stayed up till 3 a.m. Seriously.
But here we are fighting fascism. So I want you to tell people, what you guys do, how you got started, what has been your inspiration, and what you're doing to help inspire others. I already know the answer because we talk about this all the time, but
yeah. Well, my answer is a little bit different than my mom because my mom brought the idea to me. She purchased those shirts, and it was like flowers and like very subtly in like cursive it said "Fuck Trump" on it, and it was cute. It was so like I could barely see it. She had to point it out to me. And I was like, okay, I would never wear. It's so funny. I was like, I would never wear something like that. But okay, you do you, Mom. And she did it, and she posted a TikTok, and she had been doing content for a little bit, and it did really well. And I was at a place in my life where I didn't have a job or anything like that. Really, I was bartending like part time. I lived in an apartment. My boyfriend just kind of paid all the bills. We were just kind of living, not doing really much. And so I just wasn't doing much. And she's like, hey, I feel like we could do this like as a business. My mom had a different business before, which she closed and she sold, and she was not going to work anymore, but she just felt really called to do this. And like I mentioned, she had a business before. So I grew up doing things like this with her because it was just her and her business partner. So, she had free labor, her child. So there we go. And she brought me in. Yeah. So I grew up doing things like this. In fact, for like my first job, like I put her work on my resume because like I worked for her for so long. So I knew what I was getting into, and I was kind of excited about it, not as passionate as I am today about it. I was like, whatever, we can do something. but I ended up really loving it. For a while, I was very skeptical. I didn't want to be on the camera. I didn't want to be saying these things that my mom said. And honestly, I will say that I was like a little bit scared for my future. Like, what if this social media got tied back to me in a way and like someone didn't want to hire me or whatever? I wasn't sure what I wanted to do long term. Now I know that this is what I want to do long term. Something always, whether it be this, something in the political world. I feel very passionate about all the things now. I've done so much research. I've learned so much. I'm very young, so I'm just getting started into this politic world. But yeah, I've just learned so much, and I can't stay silent with everything that I know now. I just can't. And one of the things that I was very skeptical about was wearing our shirts. I didn't really. My mom's kind of like I don't really care what you say, but I'm still young, so I get my feelings hurt, and I'm like Gen Z, so I'm extra sensitive. Also, I'm a Cancer, so like look at me the wrong way and I'll cry. So it's just I couldn't do it. But the more I saw my mom wearing the shirts, like we went to the post office and like my mom was like, I don't know if you want to see my shirt. She's like, show me. And she loved it. Like, in fact, there was this other lady at the post office with, like, I have mad beef with her, and like the beef is squashed over our love of Trump. Or hate for Trump. Our love for hating Trump. There
yes, love for hating. That's yes. A Freudian slip. We're not going to clip that and blast it out on the internet. Okay, you're safe here.
Our love for hating Trump. We bonded over that, and the beef is squashed because it just brings people together. And so now I wear it because Jess is right. Here, it can feel like you're alone. Like, I was just having a conversation with my boyfriend just 10 minutes ago. Like, what if I never started this business? And I didn't meet people like Jess, or I didn't get to connect with you, Conrad, or any of these people. I just wouldn't know that you guys are out there. Like, I just wouldn't. And I would just feel alone, especially as a Latin woman. I would probably live in fear every day. But I am empowered by people like Jess, like my mom, like Kim, like Carrie. All of you guys make me feel strong, especially as a young woman. I have like all of you guys, like my aunts, to look over me and stuff like that. So I just appreciate you guys a lot. And I love what I do.
That's amazing. Yep. Thank you so much.
One of the mental tools that I've been using for public speaking is before I get up in front of folks, I just try to like close my eyes and think about all of the incredible people's shoulders that I'm standing on, that without them I wouldn't be where I am today. And that kind of lets me feel like I'm not entirely alone.
That's helpful.
Whenever I'm up in front of folks.
This is my first time on this live. This was my first time. Today I went live on my work account. I never go live. Like, I'm very scared. Thank you. So great. So I'm trying to expand a little bit. I want to be able, like, hopefully for maybe as time moves, maybe I can be somewhat of a face in the political world for Gen Z. Gen Z needs more people in politics. People are just now entering this stage. So I feel like hopefully I can be influential in the right direction and not be, somebody, not good,
I think that is so important. And I'm so glad that you said that, because your generation is who is going to be like, this is your world, right? This is your world. We're fighting for you guys, right? We're fighting for our kids. We're putting our bodies in between the ice cream people and our neighbors for you guys.
Right.
This is like so incredibly important. So that you guys have a voice to fight for a better tomorrow. And the goal, of course, is that you won't have to fight as hard as we are, right? And that you see it,
that would be the dream, right?
Right. That you see it, and it, you could see it coming. You're educating yourself on how we got here. You're being a powerful voice to inspire your friends and your community and your generation to get involved. But good Lord, I hope that you don't have to fight it this hard when you're my age. I really hope
I'm starting young, so I'll be able to fight hard.
Yeah. Like I know you're going to. But I want this to be like over. I want us to succeed and never, ever, ever have to be down this road again. Like it is so incredibly important. And
I hope that that's true, but I will always be there to make sure it doesn't happen again as well. I'm not just going to be like, all right, world's back to normal. We're just going to make sure we never go down this road again. This is something I will never forget.
And we talk about this all the time, how when Obama came in office, how complacent Democrats got. We're like, okay, we're good. Black
Yeah,
man president.
right.
This is great. It's most
Mhm.
amazingly spoken.
I even felt that as a child, you know?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
there's hope. We can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
Yeah.
And yes, we did. And now we're good. And then the Tea Party
Right.
came.
Right. And that's
So-
why I was telling my boyfriend that earlier. That's why I love, the shirts that we do, because, I feel like it gave hope to me, like seeing other people like-minded. Like now I feel more bold to say what I say because more people than I think agree with me. So I think that's important to, that's why I'm so passionate about it. I know it's just merch, guys. I know it's just shirts, but literally it sparks conversation and I know some people say it's a grift, whatever. It's not. Truly, if it was a grift, I would sell stuff for the orange orangutan, but I don't. I get custom order requests all the time because our business is that great. Even MAGA wants us, but no, I don't need a dime that bad. So, so I just, it's important to me that it sparks conversation. I didn't even know some people thought like me, stuff like that.
Yeah, I think it's not just a T-shirt. It's not just a T-shirt. It's not just a hoodie.
No, absolutely not.
It's because you don't have the opportunity to, when you're walking down the street, to say, by the way, fuck Trump, and by the way, fuck Trump.
Right, you would love to, but you'd be a crazy person.
Trump.
You'd be a liberal left lunatic, right?
Exactly, and I already have the blue hair and the septum ring. I just don't need to add to that, aesthetic.
I'm just a walking exclamation mark. I'm brown.
Exactly. So I love that I can be a billboard for my morals and my integrity, and I can wear it on my chest, and people know exactly.
Right.
To the LGBTQ kid who is terrified of coming out to their parents, they can know by looking at my shirt that I'm a safe person.
And
that
I love
is like
that. Because I
huge.
think about those kids all the time. I think
Yeah.
about how I don't know if Trans Loving Mama is still in here, but I saw a video she made where they were like, the kid was like dancing around and the mom clipped it and was like, I wonder if this kid has a male presence in his life.
I saw
and
that
I'm
video
like,
too, and I'm like, I wanted to throat punch her. Like, not cool.
what? Like, I
Cool.
can't with the kids who think that their parents' love is conditional. I didn't grow up like that. I knew I could do pretty much whatever I want, slight from murder, and my parents would still love me. So for people to think that love is conditional, that makes me sad because I never grew up like that. And I can't imagine that. I just can't imagine something like that.
That's crazy.
My mom, she wants me to tell you guys that one time we didn't make MAGA. This person asked us to make a gays for Trump shirt. And I said, no, thanks, I'll pass. And they threatened to sue for discrimination.
Wow.
I'm still waiting for the lawsuit.
Wow. I said 8647 one time on a video, and somebody said, I'm calling the FBI. And I said, okay. I've been waiting. I've got cookies ready for that.
I've been
I'm like,
waiting.
it's
Me
been
waiting for the
ages.
FBI.
Right. I'm like, hey, come on in. I got cookies.
Right.
Whatever.
Exactly.
Here's my bobble. Here's my Trumpy Dumpy diaper head Don bobblehead.
Right. I actually have
Here
a
you
cup
go.
that says fuck
Yes,
Trump and a cat
exactly.
that says, is he yet?
Yes,
like would you like to
yes.
see?
Love it. I love all of it. I'm here for it. So, guys, check out our showcase, because our showcase has a ton of Not Your Merch stuff in there. All of the best things, if I'm being totally honest, are in our showcase, along with all of our merch. Our own It Takes a Village merch is in there as well. And you can get your stuff that shows support for these grassroots efforts and these grassroots candidates. All of the proceeds go right back to amazing people like Conrad and amazing people like Blythe and amazing people like all of these people that are working so incredibly hard to make the best possible future for all of us. Because where we are right now is not it, guys. And we absolutely have to work together. So thank you so
Absolutely.
much, Jenny, for everything.
Of course,
that
thanks
you
for having
do.
me on.
V, thank you so much. I know you're in the comments. Thank you so much, V, for everything that you do. I really hope you feel better soon. But honestly, as far as It Takes a Village, as far as, where is my brain? As far as Not Your Merch goes, V, you have no reason to worry for the future of your business, because this woman right here on our screen is a bright shining star who's going to go and do amazing things, not just for Not Your Merch, but for our community as a whole. And I thank you so much for taking the time with us today. So
Thank you. That's such a high compliment. I appreciate it so much.
It is, and I mean it. I mean it. So thank you so much for that. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the information for Not Your Merch that you can peruse at your leisure. Please make sure you're following Not Your Merch and Fabulous Finds. They're incredible people. If you, Conrad, need merch for your campaign, I would highly suggest you contact these ladies. Latina-owned, small business, amazing people to work with. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, check them out, okay? So, Conrad, my friend, we are almost out of time. But before we wrap, I would like to have everyone everyone know, essentially, how they can jump in and get involved and help you in your run.
Yeah, well, we are on all of the social medias at Conrad for Congress. And that is TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Blue Sky, all of it. So you can keep up with this on there. You can also visit my website, conradforcongress2026.com. And you can donate, you can volunteer, you can join our newsletter so you can stay up to date with what we're doing. And, if you send us a DM or if you send us an email, oftentimes I see a lot of those. And so we will do our best to get back with you. Look, there's been people who have signed up to volunteers where, my time is really scheduled throughout the day, but we've had some responses of people listing the reasons why they're volunteering. And some of them have resonated with me so strongly that I'm just like, you know what, I have to give this person a call and talk to them and just say thank you. But no, the website or social medias, easiest way to get in touch. And can't think of any other outlet. Yeah, socials and the website.
Socials and the website. Fabulous. I put them on the big screen here, so you guys can go peruse to your leisure. And just, kind of reminder, we all know how we feel about big money in politics, guys. Spoiler alert, it's like super gross. Okay? Campaigns don't run on good vibes alone, though, right? So we have to make sure that we're doing everything that we can to help these candidates shine and do amazing things. So whether it's your wallet, your time, or just hitting that follow button, sharing content, every little bit helps. Okay? Even free clicks pushes Conrad's message through the interwebs. So, buy Conrad a cup of coffee, would you? That would be fantastic. Go right
Look,
now.
I promise I am not one of those people who buys a coffee on the road. I just make coffee at home. So I'm doing my absolute best to use every single dollar that comes into this campaign to go towards fighting for our democracy. I also drive around in a Ford Maverick, so I get more than 40 miles to the gallon. So the gas is going to go a long way too.
Wow.
I just wish
Definitely.
that those trucks were, man, if those trucks were union made, it'd be the best truck ever made.
Wow.
But
It's hard to get that kind of mileage. That's crazy.
look, it really is. So look, we won't get into that. Jenny, I did have one little just an anecdote from my own personal experience
I would
that I'd
love
like
to
to
hear.
share with you. Small business owner to small business owner. So I started farming through being a backyard gardener. Growing vegetables in my backyard or like just growing food in general was and still is one of my biggest hobbies. And I was lucky enough to have everything go right so that I could start farming from being a part-time like side business to it being my full-time employment that pays my bills, that pays my mortgage. But whenever I was still part-time before we made a big commitment to get started farming, I had people who would slide into my Facebook comments because I'm friends with liberal and conservative people, but people would tell me on social media that if I wanted to have a successful business, that I needed to keep a lot of my political opinions to myself because it's not how folks think around here. And And I use that as motivation every single day because whenever I was deciding to run for Congress, my mom was really worried that our farm would be affected because we would lose customers, especially people who maybe thought politically different than we did.
Right.
And whenever I announced and we didn't lose any customers, I just really believe that folks respond whenever you are honest and authentic. And whenever you stop being those things, that's whenever people can kind of see through the grift,
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
And
I'm the
so
same
I
way.
would so I would just encourage you to block out the noise. I want to order a shirt that says like "I heart haters."
That needs to be my shirt. My bio on my personal says my favorite pastime is pissing you off because I love pissing off MAGAs.
Yeah,
That needs to be a
so,
shirt for me.
You know, I love a hater. I just use those moments in time whenever folks haven't believed in me or whenever folks thought that I was going to fail as motivation to continually to improve so that I can be the best version of who I am.
I love that advice. It's great. I'm already that way. So I just know I'm headed in the right direction. I mean, I've already started my business on anti-MAGA alone. I don't got to worry about losing business. I hear all the time, you would make more money if you sell for both sides. Well, I ain't broke. So I don't really need to do for both sides. And not only that, I would rather be broke than slash my morals. Absolutely the fuck not.
Yeah,
so I'm just like, no. But
and what's really exciting is whenever I see customers out in the community and it's folks who never would have voted for Joe Biden who are excited to vote for me. And that's because even though I'm a Democrat and they're a registered Republican, they know what business I stand on and how I choose to live my life. And it is something that people respect because any of the talk that I've talked, I've also walked.
Right. Like you said, authenticity goes a long way. One of the things about social media is I'm always on social media because I'm Gen Z about creators is I can tell who is authentic and who's not. I like the creators that are authentic. They're themselves. I can usually see through the BS. It's very clear as day. And I never want to be that person.
Yeah. Like I just don't understand how folks like Dave Rubin or Tim Pool even have audiences.
I don't even know who they are.
What? You don't know who Dave? Oh man! Look, whenever I was your age, there was
Dave Pool
nothing
sounds
that I
extremely
liked
familiar.
more. There was nothing that I liked more than watching Michael Brooks make fun of Dave Rubin.
I don't even know who those people are.
Well, Michael Brooks was on the Majority Report. He passed away, unfortunately, several years ago, really suddenly. But he did the best Jordan Peterson impersonation. And I also really liked him making fun of Dave Rubin. But Dave Rubin is one of those guys like the Jimmy Dores of the world who are making their bones by saying I left the left, and now they're like MAGA mouthpieces. But then they're also the same people that these Russian propagandas give money to.
I'm so cringed out by these people, and I haven't even figured out who they are. That's so crazy.
Like, that sounds terrible.
Yeah,
I'm sure Jess.
Like,
I'm sure
oh my
Jess.
God, talk about a front.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I'm sure
icky
Jess
for them.
knows who those folks are.
Yeah.
That's so icky for them. Well, no revenge because I would hate to be them.
Yep.
Right? It's a miserable life.
Yeah,
That's
for
fair.
real.
Poor sad saps. Wee lums. Poor wee lums. Amazing. So, chat, did anybody have any questions for Conrad before we leave today? Any questions at all? Anything on the table? Anything's fair game. Want to know what his favorite recipe is? Ask him. What you got? Anything? Anything?
Are you asking me?
No, I'm asking the chat.
Oh, sorry. I was like, oh, I'm
Mhm.
sorry.
You're like, do I need to come up with a question right now?
Yeah.
People are typing. I'm sure people are typing.
Man, you need a recipe. I got a bunch.
Oh, so do I, man. Food is my love language. I'm telling you. I'm all about it.
All right, Jess. Now I need to know,
What?
Conrad. I need to know what is the animal situation on the farm?
animal situation. What you talking about?
Do you have alpacas? Mini cows? What do you
Oh,
got?
so
Cute.
What you got?
so look, I started out as a ranch, and we used to do like Thanksgiving turkeys, and we did a lot of chickens, and I sold a ton of eggs back in the day. But whenever COVID hit, it was kind of like the stock market, and I got out of the poultry business because the price for laying hen went really high, and so I sold all of the animals that we had, and then I used all of that money to start our vegetable operation. So from the ranching days, we still have a whole pond of geese. We really like the geese a whole lot. They are incredible foragers, and they also are pretty good about like sustaining their flock by hatching out their own clutches of eggs. And then we still have our two Great Pyrenees livestock dogs. We couldn't get rid of them. They're part of the family. So we used to have a lot more animals. But instead of being a protein and produce combined farm, I just have partnerships with other farms that I can get either specialty produce from that we don't grow, like sweet potatoes, or I can get like eggs and chicken and pork and beef from somebody else. Because I got to tell you, I've definitely put my business on the back burner so that I can run for Congress, but I'm still working more than 40 hours a week. I've dialed it way back, and my brother has stepped up in a big way, but I also have I haven't been marketing and promoting my business so that it can continue to grow, just kind of like maintaining exactly where we are, because it's right on the border of being too much. But no, I work so much just on the vegetable side of the operation. I can't imagine how much more work it would be to involve the animal husbandry. But I gotta say, there is an alpaca farm about 3 hours from where I live in North Louisiana and Malvern, Arkansas. And I absolutely man, I feel like a little kid whenever I'm around alpacas. They're probably my favorite farm animal, but I mean, they are to me like so cute and so goofy. Plus, I love the sustainability of natural fibers.
Yes.
So I wear wool socks, wool leggings, and like wool shirts out on the farm, and no winter season is complete without a hand knitted alpaca hat. So, I'm not showing up to campaign events in my alpaca beanie, but man, that is like almost my default.
Amazing.
That's cool.
So Little Witty wanted to know how you feel about data centers coming to Shreveport.
I'm hopeful that we still have time to stop it. There's still a lot more meetings that have to happen, but I think that with all of the awareness and all of the big overarching issues about energy, about electric bill increases, about what the environmental impact is going to be, and what the water quality is going to do, I think that a lot of voters are realizing that these data centers don't have the best interest for everyone in mind, but these data centers are meant to consolidate even more of the economy into fewer and fewer hands. So, but also philosophically, I'm a bit of an optimist. It's hard for me to be pessimistic. So I really believe that folks are going to step up at city council or at parish-wide meetings and draw a line in the sand and say, not here. But we also have, a public service commission that is going to vote 1-4. to
Yeah.
keep green lighting things. So it's even more important to make sure that you're doing what you can to promote and bring into light a lot of these races. I mean, people don't know what the hell the Public Service Commission is, you know? So it's just continually having conversations with people, continually using your voice on social media to get the issues out and the information out to people. And I'm also hoping that a lot of statewide organizations like the Sierra Club and so many others are going to step up and do their part too.
Yeah, I think that it's crazy. The amount of money that they're going to be making is stupid. It is absolutely stupid, and there's no reason at all that they can't give back to the communities that they're being put in. There's no reason at all. Like every community that a data center is in should have perfect roads, amazing healthcare, amazing first responder funding. Like all of these things should be fully funded. They should be a shining beacon on the hill if they have a data center in them. But that's not what's going to happen. And it sucks. Like we should definitely have better regulations for stuff like that. Jenny, are you okay? Gee, she's starting fires over there.
Oh my god, that was so crazy. Oh my god,
I saw you like touch something and then jump back. I'm like, holy crap, what's going on over there?
I can't turn my camera back on. I don't know what happened.
It's okay. It's okay. We're
anyway, my ring light was plugged into my desk and I heard it like spark and everything went black and I was like, okay. And I tried to take it out and literally a fire came out of the porthole. And I jumped back and I was like, Aiden, can you come get it?
Help me.
So we're good now. I don't know what was happening, but yeah.
Okay, so last question, Conrad. Last question of the night, and then we're going to let you go. How's your jambalaya recipe?
Look, I will have to say that I have to make jambalaya from a recipe book, but what I don't need a recipe book to make is cornbread to go along with the jambalaya.
Okay.
And what I like to do is I always add one extra egg for my cornbread, and instead of using white sugar, I like to replace the sugar with honey. And I think that it makes it even like more of a savory flavor. But whenever it comes to jambalaya, I think that you absolutely have to have some andouille in there. And, it can be made with chicken, but I also really like whenever it's made with shrimp and crawfish too.
I use all three. Like, why divide people, right? I use
sometimes I just can't afford
shrimp.
baby.
Like, I use them all. I know it's expensive, and don't buy it from Walmart unless you want radioactive shrimp. I'm just saying. It's a thing. Do you put sour cream in your cornbread? Don't look at me like that. It's so good.
I've never done that.
Put like half a cup of sour cream in your cornbread, and it makes it like super duper moist and delicious. You can't taste it, but it makes it like so moist. Super good.
See, look, even though I am part of the local food movement, I am not on the raw milk train. But there is an incredible dairy not far from here. Whenever I make my veggie deliveries in Shreveport, I always pick some up. But the milk is pasteurized, but it's non-homogenized. And so it has all of like the full spectrum fat on top that you have to like shake up before you drink it. Plus the milk is like kind of yellow. And making the cornbread with that milk, it's so good. But I will try I'll for sure try the sour cream.
Yeah, give it a shot. It's delicious. Little Witty says their Shreveport City Council meeting is at 3:00 tomorrow. So if you have time to mosey over there and make some noise, you should definitely do that. So
yeah, I'm going to try to. It's just at 3 p.m. I have a lot of stuff to get done on my farm tomorrow. I'm going to do my best to be there, but I may not be able to make that one tomorrow. But I am going to have some social media content come out about that data center, and to try to clarify some misinformation that people have about where the public official route that things have to go through, and the chain of command for things to get passed. So we'll be trying to clear up some of that, and make sure that everyone who is going to be affected by this, which what makes me so mad is that with all of these data centers, like every single person who is an Entergy customer, that's our power company or power monopoly in most of North Louisiana and Louisiana in general. But Entergy's bills for every single customer is going to go up between $45 and $65. And the more data centers that we're building, and that's just because of the Meta data center, not counting any other proposed data centers that would come onto the grid. So, it's just one more piece of unpopular policy that is contributing to the affordability crisis that Americans are facing all over the country.
Yep. And I would say keep hammering that horse, because not literally, please don't do that. We're not advocating for the harming of animals in any way, shape, or form. Disclaimer for entertainment purposes only. But yes, please keep talking about that, because Mamdani proved it, that it does not matter what side of the aisle you are. When you are talking about affordability, that is your winning message. Right now, it's the economy, stupid. So that is definitely.
And we're giving, this makes me so mad, but like Louisiana is giving all these tax breaks and property tax cuts to these mega $1 trillion corporations who also receive like $80 to $90 billion in subsidies from the federal government to work on these data centers, and they have the highest profit margins, and we're cutting them breaks. Oh man,
we're the ones getting screwed. Our roads are getting decimated. Our first responders don't have the funding they need. Our schools are struggling. They don't care about that stuff.
It's our kids' water that's going to be taken away.
Exactly. It's a problem. It is a huge problem. But there's hope. There's hope. So, I don't want to leave things on a bad note, but on a sour
Did we
note,
answer all the questions? Because I could. I don't mind staying around for a few more minutes if there were any other questions.
Anybody else have any other questions? We'll give you guys a minute to type. And as you are typing, I will do a quick shout out really quick to the amazing content creators who came here tonight to support us. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to our mods, our design wizard, and executive producer, the Kayla. Please make sure you're following all these people in the chat, you guys. Super important. This is a super friendly space. These are amazing people who are working to change the world. Please make sure you are following all of them. It is so incredibly important. It's not just about us. It's about all of us pulling together to make change happen. So everything I said earlier for Conrad, that goes double for us. Like our content, share our stuff out. We are still a baby project hustling to grow so we can spotlight as many of these grassroots candidates as possible. It really does take a village, and that means every single one of you. So thank you all so much. It doesn't look like the chat has anything else to add. You've answered pretty much everything else, but we would love to have you back.
Perfect.
Do you still have our booking link? I'll send it to you again, because here's what I would like to invite you to do. Your guys' primary is down the road. I think it's in May.
It's in May.
Yeah, May 19th, I think, if my memory is serving me correctly.
It just got changed, and I know that it's after May 15th and before May 20th. I just changed it in my Instagram bio.
Yeah, it's like a Saturday, right? Your state's one of those weird ones that does it on a Saturday. I just put all the dates in the Discord last night, so I'm thinking that it is the 19th, I believe. But I could be wrong.
It's in my Instagram bio 100%, but I'm on the
Yeah.
live, so I can't check.
Yeah, totally fine. Totally fine. Here's what I'd like to invite you to do. I'm going to send you the booking link again, and I would like for you to book a time that works for you to come back and tell us the progress of your campaign closer to your primary. And that's going to give you an opportunity to share about what has changed, what things you guys are working on, and to really inspire more people to get involved. That is the whole purpose of our show, is to inspire regular people just like you to get involved. So thank you so much for taking the time, both of you guys, actually. Yeah. Jenny,
and we had a reporter from NPR who visited the farm this weekend, and so we were on, or the campaign was on All Things Considered this evening, and then we're going to be one of the feature stories on Morning Edition tomorrow. So make sure that you guys are tuning in to your local NPR affiliate.
That is so exciting. Do they send you the clips and the links and stuff when you
I haven't gotten the clips and links, but they are doing like a print. They're doing the radio story. They're doing a print version, and then they're also doing several social media reels. So
incredible.
Yeah.
So the way that our Discord is set up is that there's a section for Louisiana, and you have a whole like channel on the Discord about you.
Okay.
It's got all of the nonprofit work stuff you've done, all of everything about you is on that Discord. And I would absolutely love to add that stuff to it, so that when your voters go to our Discord and they go to click on your page, everything they need to know, including your donation links, are right there for them. So
heck yeah.
Yeah, if you have anything that you want us to add to that, always let us know. We'll keep that going for you. Okay. So I appreciate you guys so much. Just a reminder to everybody in the chat, super important to check your voter registration at vote.gov and keep an eye on the local schedules in your area. On our Discord, we have put in all of the primary dates that are coming up from here between right now and November 3rd or something is when the major election is. So all the dates in there, all the runoff dates, all the primary dates are in there, so you know exactly when you're supposed to show up. It is our job to make sure that we have an informed electorate. That's what we got to do. We got to make sure that we know when we're supposed to be there. But it's not enough anymore to just go into the voter booth and then put your checks down and then walk out and consider your civic duty to be done. There's more we have to do. We have to do more. This time we're literally fighting for our rights. There's no getting around it. The stakes could not be higher, and we have to work together to make changes. Otherwise, we may not have a country.
If we don't win the midterms, it is practically game over.
Yeah.
We have to win.
It's pretty dire, guys.
No other choice.
Yeah, super dire. So we have to work together. And I know that it seems daunting. I know that it seems like, gosh, I would so much rather be playing Borderlands than fighting fascism. But there's hope, because there's an amazing community of people within the village who are standing here next to you. We're all holding hands. We're all in this together, and we are not going to let each other down. So I just want to say thank you all so much for being here. For a quick little program note, on Friday, December 12th at 6:30 Eastern, we sit down with New Hampshire's own Paige Bushman. Kim, please tell me that I'm pronouncing her name right.
Boschman, I think is how you say it.
Yes, I absolutely would have butchered that. I will have to apologize to her on Friday. We'll talk with her about her campaign to flip tables in her state, the incredible power of grassroots, and her dive to bring progressive politics to her state. So be sure to follow us on Substack, Apple Podcast, and the Gram and the Tube of You, and wherever you catch your local podcasts. If you could just leave us a little review, helps get more eyes on our content. Do the same for Not Your Merch. If you've purchased stuff from them before, go over there and, give them a little review. Give them some love. It's very important. Positivity and energy is what we need right now, and that goes for everybody. So that's the only way out of this sucker, okay? The fear's the point. The fear is the point. They want you to be scared. They want you to be scared and so that you panic. Fear leads to panic. Panic leads to inaction. And the only way through that is with community. So we got to stick together, guys. I appreciate you, Conrad. Thank you so much for coming back and spending time with us. You're welcome anytime, my friend. And we are going to be doing everything we can to help you get over that finish line, okay? Whatever we can do, we're here for you.
Yeah.
All right?
Text 10 of your friends after you make your $5 donation. Text 10 of your friends and ask them to do the same.
It's $5, guys. You can handle it. You can handle it. Seriously, it's that's what we got to do. We don't want big money in politics. That money's got to come from somewhere. So, I appreciate you guys. Take care of each other, and we're gonna call it a night. So, thank you guys for hanging out with us. Okay, have a wonderful evening. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Toodles.
It takes a village.